what is this branding? I'm not really sure. I don't know. It feels like Google Assistant and Bixby are kind of like in the retirement home together. And Gemini and Galaxy AI are their newborns. So,
can I just say that the S25 Ultra looks so good?
I think it looks good, man. I think it looks way better than the other
titanium railing, the two-tone. Love that.
The two-tone is nice. I do, like I said, I like the curved corners more and the flat edges. I think it looks really nice. But it seems like most of the stuff we're getting is AI based.
yay.
Which they spent. There was the Samsung Unpacked went out of order of how we are talking about it. It was like straight into Galaxy AI, talking about Now Brief and the Now Bar and a lot of different AI text summarization, and then right into Gemini. There was a point later where they started talking a little more about like pricing and stuff, and Adam goes, hold on, we can't record the podcast. They haven't talked about the phones yet. And like three of us turned around to him and said, no, they did.
They did.
It's like, no, they didn't talk about like the cameras or anything. I'm like, no, we talked about the cameras, Adam. It was
I
brief.
completely missed it.
It was like in the middle. I just wish they would start off with it. But let's get into some of the AI stuff. I think, would you agree that the TLDR of the AI features on this phone are a lot of the stuff we've seen in Google and Apple phones, at least what they've announced, but now in a Galaxy phone, and some of them having slightly updated features.
But some of the slightly updated features were also Google announcing features that this just happens to be the first phone that it releases on, which we have seen from Samsung and Google every year for the past like 3 years. So.
Yeah, it works good for Google. It lets them announce early without having to have their hardware out early, but also lets Galaxy have a selling point of like a couple extra features that you didn't have before. I think one of them specifically is Gemini Live being multimodal, so it can talk about things on your phone screen.
Right.
That wasn't available before. Now we have it. And I think that's kind of neat.
Gemini Live is also pretty good. So
yeah, I always go, this sounds pretty cool. And then I hear Gemini Live talk and I go, I want nothing to do with that.
Yeah. I mean, since it's AI, you still have to verify literally everything it tells you, but it's kind of cool that it sounds like a natural conversation, at least. They had a new feature that they also announced where it can now take action across multiple apps. So you could say like, add this to my calendar and send a text to this person that we're on for the day.
In the Galaxy AI portion before Gemini, we had things called the Now Brief, which is essentially personalization of different information that you might find useful throughout your day based on what it's seeing on your phone. Also something called the Now Bar, which is a lock screen widget that shows the most relevant piece of information available to you.
And looks a lot
what was it called?
Live Activities.
Live Activities.
iPhone.
Can show you scores, can show maybe how far your Uber is away from you, if a flight's getting delayed, stuff like that.
I wonder if that's going to need APIs, because the Live Activities API is a thing that developers have to implement.
Wouldn't be surprised if it does. That would make sense. Also, like natural language actions. One of them, I think this is going to be one of those things that's good for accessibility for people who aren't tech focused like us. An example they used is telling your phone, my eyes are getting tired, and it adding the like night blue light dimming onto it. Or
I hated that though.
You hated...
If your eyes are getting tired...
Stop looking at your phone.
Just stop looking at your phone.
Fair. But if you can say stuff like that, that's a little more natural to your phone to be able to change some settings around or things in the phone, that's going to... All of us family IT people out there, it's going to save us a few phone calls.
That's true.
Which
as long as people
nice.
actually use the AI features.
That's true.
Yeah.
It all depends on, I guess, how easy it is to get to those.
Right.
Well, now you could just hold down the side button.
Right. So that's another interesting thing. Like Marquez mentioned, now if you hold down the power button, it doesn't open necessarily Gemini nor Bixby, but it's like a combination of the two.
It seems like kind of like a combination of like using Gemini, but then also using... He said Bixby. I don't remember them saying Bixby in the show at all, but what he's talking about is from the briefing, and I don't know exactly what they said in there, but it seems like holding down that button gives you Gemini until Gemini needs to physically interact with your phone somehow. Then it goes into Galaxy's AI, whatever they're calling it.
Do you guys remember how we had most of this with Google Assistant? When you could hold down the power button.
So scared of
just what I was thinking.
Google Assistant just going away soon.
I mean, they barely ever talk about it.
I know.
They had the similar situation to this Bixby thing in the Pixel event, when they barely really talked about Google Assistant at all. They just Gemini. And then at one point they said, and Gemini can use Google Assistant to do the, like, turn on and off your lights in your home. And it was like, what is this branding? I'm not really sure. I don't know. It feels like Google Assistant and Bixby are kind of like in the retirement home together. And Gemini and Galaxy AI are their newborns. So, yeah.
Yeah. A couple other quick things. There's being able to ask your phone to find specific photos. So it's basically like gallery search, but with voice. They use an example of a dog in a bathrobe. But the more you ask it, the more it can use context to think like, that was in October because you're asking about a Halloween picture.
Yeah.
Or
you were already able to do that in Google Photos. So.
Now with voice.
Cool.
Awesome.
Okay.
Circle to search, which was a great example of you mentioning like, here's something Google AI is doing, but it's launching first because I believe the S24 launched Circle to search.
Yeah.
Now the new features are, if it sees in that circle a URL, an address, a phone number, it'll be able to like let you click on those and go straight into whatever you need for them instead of just a web search for them.
Right.
Awesome.
They just get to announce new AI features every 6 months instead of every year, like
Google
Apple
does.
has to.
Google gets to have a second event that they have to do zero work for.
Although ironically, at the Pixel event, because they didn't announce the Pixels for like the first hour, they used a Galaxy S24 Ultra to show off all the new Gemini features.
I'm sure that was part of the deal.
Yeah, probably part of the deal.
So with AI stuff, the thing that kind of made me the most upset was saying that by purchasing these phones, they all come with 6 months of Gemini Advanced and 2 terabytes of cloud storage for free.
Yeah.
Which means...
Why does that make you upset?
Because then eventually we will have to... What is the difference between Gemini and Gemini Advanced? Are we losing Gemini?
Gemini Advanced is like the paid OpenAI thing. Where
so we'll still get all of these features without paying for it. That's what makes me upset.
Great point.
What in here
what
will I
part
potentially lose if I don't have Gemini Advanced, which is a monthly subscription,
That is a good question. It's a good question.
$20
Very
a
good
month.
question. Yeah, what if you stop paying for it after 6 months and most of these features stop working?
That's terrible.
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's how it's going to be.
Are you willing to put your name behind that statement, David?
I will bet on it.
I could be super wrong and I could have missed something. So please tell me how wrong I am.
Gemini Advanced is just a more advanced model, and you'll probably still have access to the regular Gemini control stuff and searching stuff.
So if you don't pay, your phone gets dumber.
That would be horrible.
It would be terrible.
Man, are we really moving towards a world where
Yes,
your
for
phone
sure.
is a subscription plan outside of the already subscription plan that you already paid for
to
it?
use it?
Outside of the carrier plan that you also pay for?
Yes.
Outside of your texting plan that you...
The fact it
but
took
this is
this
like
long is
4
actually
levels.
surprising.
There's like 4 layers of subscriptions, though.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
It's a good question. We'll have to figure that out.
I think the last thing I kind of had here is a couple AI photo video tools.
Okay.
I guess not all of them are AI because they did introduce log video.
Even if they're not AI, they'll call it AI.
Okay, AI log video. They did introduce the face swap, which we've talked about on Google Photos before. There's an audio eraser that we've seen a couple different times that allows you in post to erase wind noise, background noise, increase regular talking noise to make it more clear.
Yep.
Which was the one time Ellis went to use the bathroom during the audio feature.
I know he was really sad to miss it. This event in general
Yes.
was really boring.
It was horrible. They've been horrible for a while. So,
Most tech events, not just Samsung.
Yeah,
most tech events.
yeah. But I feel like the fact that they like refuse to change how the phones even look kind of like is mirrored in the boring level of the event.
It's fair.
They also showed a render of the AR glasses again.
So not only did they show the render of the glasses, it started as
Goggles, I guess.
It started as like this weird timeline. They showed this like hypothetical timeline of what could be going forward with how all of this AI works in it, and it showed a phone, a folding phone, a
trifold.
They called it multi-folding.
Yeah.
Then goggles or VR headset.
Yeah.
Then glasses.
Yeah, which implies that a trifold is going to come out before the VR.
That's a really good point that I didn't think of because all the rumors right now are
It was a timeline.
It was a timeline. I guess I don't know if it's timeline of release date or timeline of
probably just
technology,
about
maybe.
it. I don't know.
But then they did
It's
show
a timeline of lies.
A time lies.
But then right after that, they showed a render of the front of a Google
Google XR.
I'm calling it Google headset because they called it Google XR in the
There is
Android XR.
Google X.
Android XR.
I think it's
Android XR. Yeah, I think it's Android XR. But there was a name. It was Project.
Yeah, I have
something.
Android XR. That's what.
Okay, but it's Project something.
And then later, again though, in an AI in a graphic about AI, they showed something that said headset and said glasses. So not only are we talking about, they mentioned glasses twice.
They're definitely mentioning glasses.
Or they like alluded to it. They actually talked about the headset a little. They alluded to glasses.
When Google releases their Gemini glasses, it will probably be at a Samsung event. So, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. Something that was at the very end that makes no sense. We have briefly mentioned the existence of a potential iPhone 17 Slim. And then we mentioned the existence of a potential Galaxy S25 Slim, obviously to beat Apple to the punch. They did the credits, which was 2 screens very quickly so that they could one more thing us. They are calling it the Galaxy S25 Edge, which, if you don't know, is a callback to the S6 Edge, the Galaxy Note Edge, the Galaxy S7 Edge, which is when they were first starting to figure out how to bend displays. So they sort of had this, like, it would bend over the side of the right side and they would display information on it. They are just reusing that brand name to make a slimmer phone, is what it seems to be. They showed a very quick splash video and a very quick render. And at the event, they have a few units, but you have to stand like 10 feet back from it, so you can't really see exactly what it looks like. Marquez took a little video for us.
Oh, did he post it?
You did. It's a random channel.
We're seeing this.
It's in Waveform. Yeah, we're seeing it right now. It is extremely hard to tell what's different about it, really, because they sort of have this like exploded, or it's not even an exploded view.
It's like
just
hanging.
They're hanging it. I don't know. It just looks thinner. I don't know.
Yeah, so it was like they tried to pull the like Marvel end of credits, but they knew the minute credits rolled, people would piece. So the credits
like,
were
boom, and then
6 seconds long, and then they said, "Now you think you've seen it all," and then like S25 Edge, which I will give them credit. All of us looked at each other and said, "This didn't leak.
Right?
Are we actually getting surprised?" It may have been a little boring, but I am hyped anytime there's something that genuinely surprises me in one of these events.
At least that name.
Kudos to Samsung.
What if it's an S25 without the AI features? Like if you're like,
Slim, we slimmed out the AI
yeah,
features.
you're like, I don't want any of this.
One thing I can see from this, and you could see from the render, is it's definitely not just like the S25 because it only has 2 cameras. It's an oval camera bump on the back, which looks very similar to like a regular iPhone, but slimmer. I hate to compare everything to iPhone in this, but like
I know.
that's just kind of where we're at.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see in this one clip very much so, just 2 cameras and like a flash or a microphone underneath it.
Right.
And it's like hanging on this bar, and there's just an absolute sea of people reaching over trying to see it, and people sticking their cameras over, and security guards like shushing them back. Do we think this is potentially like the new version of the S Series FE? So like, could you see this coming out approximately the size of the S25 Plus? Very similar features, maybe slight spec bump down, and in that like $700 range?
I think it's going to be $1,000.
I think that would be a terrible move because the FE has such great brand recognition.
It's probably going to be more. I wonder if it's going to be 1,100. I feel like they're going to pull some sort of like, it took a lot of intense special engineering to get it to be this slim and still deliver this level of performance. So you're paying for the extra, you know, because I think
but you're getting one less camera too.
I know, but I think that the iPhone 17 Slim that is rumored is also rumored to be way more expensive.
Okay.
So we know nothing else about it. The Verge asked for comment, and a Samsung representative said they had nothing further to share other than the tease at Unpacked, which was clearly planned. Cool. Thanks, guys. Obviously, the hands-on video that Marquez did is out now on the YouTube channel, so go watch that if you want to know more information about these phones. Otherwise, that was basically the event. All right, thanks for watching that clip. Nintendo Switch 2, Nintendo Switch 2, Nintendo Switch 2, Nintendo Switch... Oh, sorry, I forgot this was the Samsung section. The phones are the same. See you later.
And,
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.